I'm okay. I just smoked another to the face, yeah. She wanna stay. Singing to your bitch like I was Drake, yeah.
Don't just try to tell me you love me. Can't keep it real if you really don't trust me. Come with a real, you hit up in the front, so you get my meals. I'm gunning for the money in the bank. Come with a dank, scrolling in the tank, rolling with the gang. You sitting out on the sideline tripping, I go to the hole with the rock like Pippin.
Yeah. I'm okay.
What up, though, everybody, and welcome back to the Woodward Heavyweights. 3 days in a row, Nikki on the
Third time
desk.
is the charm, baby. Let's go back to back to back like the Lakers. We're out here.
Uncle Nicky up here on the desk with me. Easy tummy so wumbling.
Uh-oh.
He's still got Will tummy wumbles. Chase again in the booth. Chase, appreciate you filling in. And Chris is here too.
Shout out.
But we got a lot to talk about. We're going to talk Red Wings to start off the show, but we have a lot of Detroit Lions news, a lot of important inside information from players on the Lions.
Bunch of news.
It's real. I'm really excited. We got a lot of good topics to talk about, a lot of good videos and audio for you guys. But first things first, last night, Patty Kane night, he scores the overtime winner, man.
Yeah.
There were nuns in attendance, and he hits the sign of the cross celebration on one knee. Like, that's as showtime as it gets.
Exactly. That's what you bring in Patrick Kane for, is moments like this when you need a superstar type play. You see it out of Patty Kane at times now. It's like it used to be night in and night out was Patrick Kane superstar. You see it in spurts now in big moments for this Red Wings team. And it's big moments right now that he wasn't providing early in the season.
Yeah.
He is finally hitting his stride, and it's perfect to see for this Red Wing team.
Yeah, you love it. You love it. These guys are stepping up. Like we talked about the veterans, and I'm also seeing the stars under the top father, like Patrick Kane, DeBrincat, Larkin, Raymond. These are the guys that are driving your team as it should be. So you love to see that. And JGB, Jared Goff's Bulge, shout out the Bulge Army.
Shout out.
He says, damn, does Easy have the new bird flu? I mean, if that's
might.
going, he might. Like, the dude's been going through it right now. He said COVID didn't even have him this down bad. So
Yeah, he's not holding anything down, allegedly. So
allegedly, yeah. And obviously, this is the intro. We like to just do some quick hitters. We're got a whole Red Wings topic coming up next. But Nick, you were excited about Michigan's trip over to California way, and it worked out for you guys pretty well.
36 points for the transfer center, Vlad Golden. You talk about bringing in a high-level recruit, and that's what Dusty May was able to do. When you talk about revamping a whole entire organization and, a program, that's what Dusty May has done with Michigan basketball. It's been way faster than I expected because Jawan left it at such a shit show. I didn't think this was possible. Dusty May should definitely be up for Coach of the Year right now, and this is a serious national contender for the championship.
Yeah, they're a great team, man. Dusty May's a real deal head coach, and he brings in real deal talent. And, Wolf is... he's one of the best players in the country. So
unreal.
It was crazy. They took care of business against UCLA.
One thing that I hit on yesterday, which I was still stunned about, I was a little disappointed in some student sections at UCLA.
Yeah.
It looked a little weak in there for a top 25 team, and they're gonna have a tough time coming over to the Big Ten, honestly, when they get into some of those arenas like at Indiana or at a Wisconsin or at Michigan State.
Yeah.
Look out for those USC and UCLA Washington teams to come over to this side of town. It might get a little ugly for those guys.
It very well could. They don't travel well, obviously, and yeah, you're right. That crowd. At a home game, a big matchup, a big Big Ten matchup. One of your first Big Ten game.
Two top 25 teams.
Yeah, and you don't show up. Come on, UCLA. I thought you guys were a blue blood. What the hell's going on there?
Yeah, this is a serious national title contender in Michigan, and I'm so happy to have Michigan basketball back. You saw it a little bit under Jawan, but it was really just some of those high-level players. It was never really the coaching.
Yeah.
I didn't like the schemes. You're finally seeing it now in Dusty May, and it's nice to see. And everybody, always clowns some Michigan fans. Oh, you're only a fan of the team when they're good. No. I've been a fan of this program, the Trey Burke days, all the way throughout. John Beilein, great coach. I'm so happy to have this team back and, having a great football team, hopefully going forward with a great basketball team. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch, and I'm excited for some of those rivalry games with Michigan State.
That is true. Detroit Supremacy makes a good point. He says Cali is literally hell on earth right now. It was, the wildfires in California.
Supremacy on the top ropes. Great point.
Yeah.
Shout out California. Hope everybody's safe.
I hope everybody's
opened
okay.
with that.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, wow. I didn't even think about that.
Didn't even put two and two together.
Yeah.
LA is on fire right now. And
The LA and UCLA.
it
stands for Los
Angeles.
Yeah.
So
well, hopefully they're evacuating. Maybe that's why. But also, I don't think they've ever had some massive crowds, at least in football.
Yeah. And Luigi Gaming in the Woodward Sports Chat with the first super chat in there. He says U of M is still the stomp out by MSU. Is still he stomp out by MSU. I think he thinks MSU is going to win. And yeah, I agree. These like you were talking about, he just, Nick just puffed his chest out on how good of a Michigan fan he is. He's an unrelenting, unwavering Michigan fan. But he's got a surprise for you guys at the end of the show today. So make sure you stay tuned. Courtesy of Adam Pyatt. He's really going to prove his Michigan fandom. And speaking of that, we have another super chat goal in there today.
This is a good one.
We're gonna do the Jahymr Burger live. If we hit that super chat goal, we're gonna do the Jahymr Burger live. So, prayers to supremacy. It's a great point. LA is on fire.
Yeah,
and hopefully they're all better. It's tough out there. It's getting close. We saw the pictures from an airplane's view.
Look bad.
That's. Oh, man. Just prayers to everybody. Hopefully they're all evacuated and in safe areas. I got friends out there. I got family out there, so hopefully they're all right. But next up on our little intro here, Ben Johnson. Obviously, he's going to be one of the most coveted head coaching candidates in the world. This guy is going to be the most sought-after head coaching commodity in the NFL until he becomes a head coach. And we have a list of the teams that he is already confirmed to be interviewing with. This is per Jordan Schultz. It is on Friday. He will interview with the Raiders and Patriots. And then on Saturday, he will interview with the Bears and Jaguars. None of those, out of those 4 interview spots, the one that is most concerning to me is the Patriots. Because he's talked about his most important thing is he wants a structured system, top to bottom, good ownership, good GM. And obviously the talent discrepancy. So when you look at New England, obviously they have one of the best front offices in sports they have for a while.
Yep.
The GM, that might be a little in question. But obviously they got Drake May, new young quarterback. Don't know if Ben Johnson likes him or not. I look at that one as the most potential out of these 4.
Yeah, I also take a look at Jacksonville. Honestly, obviously they want the good GMs, everything. But Trevor Lawrence, I feel like this is a guy that hasn't hit his potential as an NFL quarterback. He was one of the most praised prospects ever coming out, and he was a praised recruit as well, for that matter. And you really haven't seen it too much in Jacksonville. I'm sitting in this seat. I feel like this is Easy's guy in Trevor Lawrence. But you put him with Ben Johnson. I mean, I don't know. He could turn him absolutely around. And I would look at Jacksonville for that matter. I'm not scared of the Bears unless they fire Ryan Poles. That's it. If they fire Ryan Poles, then I could seriously see Ben Johnson, maybe looking at the Bears harder. But with Ryan Poles there, Ben Johnson will not become a Chicago Bear and definitely not the head coach. Chris?
I'm just glad that all the homeless people will be safe this weekend because we know what Ben Johnson likes to do on the weekend.
That is true.
Which is just go out and kick homeless people.
Yeah, Ben Johnson is notoriously abusive on homeless people, especially veterans.
Yes, and he's the big thing about it too is he says it's not working if you're doing what you love, and it's just sickening. It's just menacing. So hopefully, that leaves just Sunday, day of rest, day of repentance. So. Hopefully the homeless people are safe. So that's the big plus with me. Yeah, Ben Johnson has been seen destroying and mutilating public art in Detroit over and over too. Burning crops.
Allegedly it was Ben Johnson who was pushing over old ladies into crosswalks instead of helping them walk across.
Yeah, I also heard he yells at Vikings fans.
Heard that too.
Of that,
yeah.
These Vikings fans gotta shut up.
Yeah,
about this goddamn Lions. They are trying to obliterate the respect that the Detroit Lions fans have around the league. They're trying to assault our character. I will not stand for it. These Vikings fans, please provide one video in this modern era. It is 2025. Everything is caught on video.
Yeah.
Please show me something before you come and attack our character. God, it's been brutal to see this. But honest, hey, we annihilated you guys. So I mean, keep making shit up. It goes for Packers fans as well.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck about Vikings fans or Packers fans. Say whatever you want about us. You're going to have to say we're your daddy because we've beaten you consistently for pretty much Dan Campbell's whole tenure now, especially the Vikings. So, yeah, I don't give a shit about you. You don't like being tweeted bad? Don't come. You can go to Philly. Go have fun in Philly. Did you see what those Philadelphia Flyers fans were doing to Canadians? The salt of the earth. Literally the nicest people ever. They were beating, like punching them in the face. So, fuck off. Done with you. Don't care about you.
Belt ass.
Ben Johnson got easy sick.
Ben Johnson did get easy sick, allegedly.
Bro.
And but before we go to break here, Nick, you had a quote about Alex Bregman that you brought up pre-show.
Yeah, and I did. I don't know if Chris has it or not.
Did you
Let me
send
see.
it?
It's fine. Just read it off. And
Yep.
It's just say who said it and then read it off.
Yeah, this was from John Heyman from the Tigers turmoil. Per John Heyman, the Tigers and Red Sox both held meetings with Alex Bregman. He believes they are the most likely landing spots for him. He mentions that Alex Cora and A.J. Hinch both want Bregman badly. Wow.
Yeah, there
You're going
you
to get in
go.
a bidding war with the Red Sox. First reaction, Spencer.
We'll lose that. First reaction is we're not
Don't
going.
say it,
First
damn
reaction is we're not going to win any type of bidding war, especially not with Dave Dombrowski.
Oh, God.
So
Dombrowski's with the Phillies.
Dombrowski's with the Phillies now. Who's in?
I don't know the GM, but
Either way,
yeah.
we're not going to win against the Red Sox. But you look at I saw the Mets were also interested and the Blue Jays were also interested. But like you said, the two main points of contention were the Tigers and the Red Sox with the ties to Alex Cora and to A.J. Hinch. Obviously, both of them being with Houston for a long period of time and knowing him very well. So I'd hope that with your stellar head coach, who just did what he did last year. And like I said it before, I'll say it again, A.J. Hinch should have free coffee every single time he goes into a coffee shop in Detroit for the rest of his life based on what he did last year. He wants this guy really bad.
Yep.
And you got to go get him, Chris Ilitch. You got to go get him, Chris Ilitch. Like, you need to go out there and take care of your guy. Not only does your head coach, who is arguably the best head coach in the MLB, almost inarguably the best head coach in the MLB, he wants him this bad. He needs this guy. We do too. Like, the Tigers need him. It's not like it's just a random dude on a position that you don't need that you're going to have to overpay for. This is a position of need, a player of need. Like, what he does for the team, where he plays, where he would hit in the lineup, and his glove are all extreme points of emphasis for the Tigers this offseason. On top of your rock star head coach really wanting him, like, Chris, go spend the money. You kind of have to.
Exactly. Couple things to start out with. If you're going up against the Red Sox are competing with the Yankees and the Orioles in that division, and they are tired of being under them right now. That's where they're at. They're third in that division at least. So what did they do this offseason? They traded a top 25 prospect for a AL Cy Young contender in Garrett Crochet.
Yeah.
That is what the Boston Red Sox did. They're tired of being mediocre, and they still have two top 10 prospects in baseball, just like the Tigers.
Yeah, that's why they won a World Series the past 20
So with
years.
them willing to spend this money for Alex Bregman, they even have to move over a guy, an all-star, in Rafael Devers to first base if they want to sign Alex Bregman. So they have to mix a bunch of things up. The Tigers don't.
No.
Alex Bregman,
fits like
the
a glove.
Gold Glover, fits right in. Two-time World Series champ. Alex Bregman fits so perfectly with this Tigers team, and you need the righty bat. You put him in the top 6 of your order for the next 5 to 6 years, pencil it in, and he helps all of these younger prospects moving forward when you're not actually just contending to win the Central and to win a playoff series. You're contending for the World Series. This is a move that does that, and it proves to the fans that you actually give a shit, Chris. This is what the Alex Bregman move would do. Get the job done.
Got to get the job done. And I see everybody in the Woodward Sports Chat. Ben Johnson pissed at my Cheerios. Ben Johnson steals bodies from morgues and graveyards. Obviously, all of this allegedly. AC says Ben Johnson trips children. Xavier D. Ben Johnson pulls fire alarms in old folks' homes. MPWMU. Ben Johnson likes Dukes of Hazzard with Coy and Vance. It's a lot of stuff piling up on one guy, and it just screams not head coach material.
Yeah, it's just a character thing. As a coordinator, it's fine, but as a leader of men, as a leader of your franchise that an NFL head coach should be, I just don't see that in Ben Johnson if all these alleged things are true.
Yeah, it's Tom Bregman says Ben Johnson likes the Star Wars prequels. I've heard Ben Johnson likes the Star Wars sequels, which is even worse.
Yeah, that's terrible.
I've heard Ben Johnson's favorite Star Wars movie is The Last Jedi. Allegedly. It's bad. I heard Ben Johnson really was happy with the censoring of Indiana Jones. I don't know if he's head coaching material. Should probably just stay the offensive coordinator of the Detroit Lions for the rest of his life. That makes the most sense. These are all allegedly, obviously.
Allegedly.
But allegedly, he's been out on the town. You know how people wake up early in the morning and they put salt out to try to, break up the ice? Ben Johnson has been walking around dumping buckets of water in people's driveways just to freeze over. So, allegedly. It said a male that looks exactly like Ben Johnson and sounds a lot like Ben Johnson. So allegedly it's Ben Johnson, but we don't know yet.
And I know Aaron Glenn's been getting looks as well, and allegedly Alex Anzalone had some things to say about that defensive coordinator, Aaron Glenn, and I know we're going to get to that after a little bit of hockey.
We're going to get to that. We got a lot of Lions topics to get to for sure, but first tell us about Mark White.
Mark White gonna do you right. Mark White and Associates. Dreaming of a new home, but feeling the financial pinch? Mark White and Associates, your trusted real estate experts, are here to help. Mark White and his team will pay up to $5,000 for your closing costs. That's right, I said $5,000. Call Mark White and Associates today at 248-290-8242 or visit them at markwhitesells.com.
Back-to-back NFC North Division champions. The Detroit Lions are playoff bound and ready to eat the kneecaps of anyone standing in our way. Follow Woodward Sports as we cover the best season in Detroit Lions history. Go Lions!
Talk about pressure, we live in pressure. That's where we freaking thrive. You did it again.
From Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side. Woodward Sports.
Attention sports fans, don't miss out on expert sports injury insights with Dr. Jeff Pierce of Michigan Sports and Spa. And join Dr. Pierce every Tuesday during Big D Energy and Thursdays during Ermanni and Edwards, where he offers top-notch injury advice. Trust the guy that DMAC trusts. Dr. Jeff Pierce is here to keep you in the game and performing at your best. For more information, visit MichiganSportsandSpine.com or call 248-426-9944. What up, though, everybody? Welcome back to the Woodward Heavyweights Live on Woodward Sports. Smash that like button. Nick in again on the desk because Easy got Will Tummy Wumble
3 times.
Chase in the audio booth and Chris in the TD booth. I am Spencer Raxter. Appreciate you joining us. Make sure you smash the like button. Get in there. Get your Red Sox. Get your Super Chats in there, and we appreciate them as always. Rando Smalls in there says Ben Johnson hits 18 holes of golf, and then he goes to your mom's to make it 21. Allegedly, that is what Ben Johnson does. So,
Ben
Johnson. Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson is not his real name. In a
not-so-friendly order.
Yeah, not so friendly order. But something that has been friendly, something that has been fun to watch, the Detroit Red Wings are undefeated in 2025. The Detroit Red Wings have won 5 straight games under new head coach Todd McClellan. They're performing at an insanely high level. That was a great win last night in overtime against the Senators, who, Nick, you said they're kind of the Red Wings rival. And there is, I don't know, I don't think you can truly be a rival with a team unless you have like playoff implications involved. But for these teams, there is a little bit of a rivalry brewing. Obviously, the hit on Larkin is what stemmed most of the animosity between the two clubs. But what they did last night was impressive. They go out there, Alex Lyon, great first period, ends up getting pulled because of an upper body injury.
Yikes.
So we're going to talk about that in a second too. But you put in Talbot, he gives up a couple goals, you stay in it, and then Patrick Kane with the walk-off goal in overtime on Patrick Kane bobblehead night.
Yep.
You love to hear that, man.
Yeah, this has been extremely impressive, and I thought this is a rivalry game in my eyes. There's no other way around it, and it's a modern-day Red Wings rivalry, I'll say that. And you saw it with Tkachuk on Edvinsson going after our young superstar player, ripping off his helmet, dude, going at his face. Yeah.
Tkachuk's a dirtball.
Yeah, dirtball, especially against the Red Wings. I mean, hit after hit, I feel like I could feel the tension last night, and I wasn't even in LCA. This was a big win for the Red Wings team. They were above you in the standings, and you found a way to get it done. The biggest thing for me is they weren't playing their best hockey, Spencer.
No.
You saw them go down in the second period. They fought back, and that's what this team would not do at the start of the season when they had Derek Lalonde and when they had expectations of being a playoff team. But now, riding 4 games coming into this one, they were able to find the comeback and find the spark. Shout out Joe Veleno, big goal. Talking about mixing up the lines, putting him on the first line. I thought this was such a big comeback performance and to keep on building the momentum moving forward. What was the biggest thing that stood out to you?
Yeah, I think it was the young guys in this one. You talk about, I mean, Veleno's not that much of a young guy anymore, but he's still
young vet.
He got a goal in there. Casper had an amazing opportunity to goal that Chase called, but he got absolutely robbed by the goaltender. So
close.
Hopefully Casper can keep playing like he's been playing well. He's getting pressure on the net. He's getting shots out there. Burn in the Woodward Sports Chat says Ben Johnson doesn't yield for ambulances and fire trucks. I mean, this is all alleged, but there has been footage of him not stopping for ambulances, and it could be Ben Johnson, it could not be, but it's true. Like I said, the young guys playing well, but I said it earlier, it is your stars that are leading this team.
Yep.
It is Patrick Kane, who is a star of this team. It is Dylan Larkin, who has been on a heater. It is Lucas Raymond. It is Alex DeBrincat. That is something that you need. That is something that is inexcusable to have those guys not performing. And a lot of them weren't. They really weren't performing up to their standard under Lalonde. And you bring in Tom McClellan, and he's got your big dogs eating, and he's getting supplementary scoring as well from the younger guys. So that is just a plus. But we talked about probably the worst part of the game, the worst news from the game.
Yep.
Alex Lyon, who's played very well in his past couple appearances, goes out after the first period with an upper body injury. Obviously, you got to dip back into that well of goalies that you got in the AHL. I spoke with Daniela Bruce earlier today.
Shout out.
She told me that it's not going to be announced till tomorrow because they did not practice today, but she would be surprised if it wasn't Ville Husso. Ville Husso has been playing well his last couple games. Obviously, he had that 6th spot on December 20th, but on his last appearance, he had a shutout, 31-save shutout. His appearance before that, 32 saves, 1 goal effort. So he's had a couple good performances. And then even the one before the 6th spot, he only gave up 2. The one before that, 32 shots, 30 saves, so 2 goals. So he hasn't been bad. That 6th spot stuck out big time, but he's coming off of a 1-goal performance and a shutout, both with 30-plus saves. She said that Ville Husso is probably going to be the guy.
I'm out on Husso. I'm going to be straight up with you. I really am. I mean, I thought he's had his chance. He's given up 3.47 goals per game, and I just don't think that's getting it done for this Red Wings team right now. Maybe it was a little bit that this defense wasn't playing to the caliber or like to the level that they can, but no, I'm out on Husso. And you know who I want to see, Spencer?
Who?
Sebastian Cossa.
Yeah.
One of your blue chip prospects that Stevie Y drafted 15th overall in 2021. Same draft as Simon Edvinsson. You've seen him come up and just be tremendous for this team on the blue line. Sebastian Cossa was the first goalie taken in that draft and the first goalie taken from the Steve Yzerman era with a high draft pick.
Yeah.
I think Kosa has to be the guy. You saw him come up one time this season, and the boys played for him. They played extremely strong for him. They got thrown in the middle of the game, and he won that game. You saw the guys flying around the ice in front of Sebastian Kosa. I really like this kid's potential. He's given up 2.3 goals a game in Grand Rapids. And I think you got to go to him at this point. I think he's a superstar in the making. This team is hot as hell right now. And I think it's a perfect time for him. What are your thoughts on that instead of going with what you know in Ville Husso?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I would like to see Kosa too. But I don't think that's realistic. Now, we saw them not give him the opportunity and brought up an injured Talbot. And with I loved they played for him because they did. Dylan Larkin said it himself. Like, they played for him when he was in there and got the spark. I don't think that's a problem anymore under Todd McClellan. Yep. You're not searching for a spark anymore. You're 5-0. You got the spark. So we'll see. I mean, yes, would I prefer to see Kosa? Absolutely, but I don't think it's realistic at this point. I think they're just going to bring him up in those emergency duties if he has to. And Chase, you gave Nick a ding for wanting Kosa. Do you echo those sentiments?
My fault. Yeah, I'm done with Husso. I'd love to see Kosa again. Husso has, isn't this the last year of his contract? I'm just ready for him to be off the books, off this team, off of the Griffins even. Don't even take up a roster spot in Grand Rapids. I was hoping maybe we could package him out in a trade, but he's still not even good enough to.
Nobody wants that contract. Yeah, he's getting paid a couple million a year.
So yeah, I definitely want to see some more Kosa.
Yeah, I don't hate that, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, look, we've been talking about this for a while that goaltending is going to be the biggest thing that can propel them forward. Now, they've shown to have other flaws in that this year, but last year you felt like they were really a goaltender away from making noise in the playoffs. So I don't see why you got a kid that's doing the things that this guy is doing on the pipeline and not just give him a shot. What is the alternative? You are playing very well right now. You have a good support cast system. You have a coach that you trust. Give this kid the opportunity. Give this kid the leash.
Amen, Chris. That's exactly where I wanted to go with it. When is the better time for Sebastian Kosa to get his actual run with this team? Rather, when we're red hot. I think he could build off some of this momentum as well going forward and, kind of put him into that star. We need Kosa to be a star.
Yeah.
And if he's not, we sure as hell need Trey Augustine too, who plays for the Spartans right now.
Yep.
Because you need to hit on one of these two young goalies. But I think Kosa is this guy. Stevie went out on a limb when he did draft him. He has the size. He has the athleticism. I think he just needs some run. And moving forward, if this team wants to go on, not just barely sneak into the playoffs, but to cement themselves into the playoffs, you're going to need a dog goalie. And you might need two.
You got
and Kosa might be that guy. I say give it a shot while you're hot. Let's see what you got.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to, just to add to what you were saying, Nick, about Stevie believing in him. He was the first goalie selected in the draft, and we moved up to get him. And a lot of people were a little bit surprised because I think it was Jesper Waltz, who was expected to be the first goalie taken in that draft.
Exactly.
I think Minnesota ended up moving up to take him later. But still, I mean, he has the size. He has, the intangibles. You're hoping to see him get some run. We definitely could use some help.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm fully expecting it to happen. But like I said, I just don't think it's this year. They've proven to us already that they don't want to do it unless it's an emergency situation. So I think you're just going to ride out with Ville Husso. And we were talking about Alex Lyon leaving the game with an upper body injury. I spoke with Danielle Bruce earlier. She said they won't be announced till tomorrow, but she would be surprised if it wasn't Ville Husso. So we're going to go to break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk Lions. We got some great audio to show you guys. A couple of great quotes in there that we're going to react to. But first, Nick, tell us about the pregame show.
On game days, make sure you guys check out Woodward and Maine with insights from Detroit sports media legend Terry Foster and rising star Matt Broder every Sunday, 8 to 9 a.m. And after that, make sure you check out the New Holland Brewing Company Lions pregame show with Neil Rule and Sean Belegian Sunday, 10 a.m. to noon on Woodward Sports. And for the home games, which is all we have left, make sure you come party with us at Second Best Bar down in Detroit, located at 42 Watson Street. It's an absolute party. Make sure you guys check out the pregame show in Woodward and Maine.
Can't get enough Lions Lions coverage? Make sure you catch all Woodward sports shows every game day. Wake up with Woodward and Maine, giving you the latest insight into the Lions locker room and press conferences. Then join the Lions pregame show, highlighting key matchups, injuries, and what to watch for during the game. Follow all the ups and downs of the live game action with our Woodward Watch Party live on YouTube and woodwardsports.com. After the game, check out the instant fan and host reactions with the Lions postgame show. Every game, it's wall-to-wall, kneecap-biting, high-fiving, chest-pumping Lions coverage.
Hell yeah!
Only at Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Woodward Sports, let's go.
Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer, is kicking off the game with the best prices on all cars, trucks, and SUVs, like this 2024 Silverado for just $296 a month, or this 2025 Equinox for as low as $371 a month. Our locations in Novi, Highland, New Hudson, Livonia, and Lansing means we have the perfect Chevy right in your backyard. Get the home team advantage every day at Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer.
The Super Bowl parade in Detroit will be one for the record books. Detroit just does it different. Woodward Sports, your official Super Bowl or Bust Lions network. The countdown to kickoff is here. Your Detroit Lions are ready for another season of grit. Woodward Sports is your #1 destination for all breaking news and Lions coverage. We are Detroit's #1 sports network. We are Woodward Sports.
Since 1996, Feldman Automotive has been driven to provide a fast, convenient, and first-class car buying experience called the Feldman Advantage. With 18 locations, there's a Feldman dealership in your backyard. Visit feldmanauto.com to find the location nearest you. You catch Woodward Sports Network live from Feldman Chevrolet of Novi every other Monday. Feldman Chevrolet, Detroit's #1 Chevy dealer.
What up, though, everybody, and welcome back to the Woodward Heavyweights live on Woodward Sports. Make sure you smash that like button for Nick, for Chase, for Chris. I am Spencer. We are the Heavyweights. Send those super chats in there if you want your comment to jump to the top of the line. We got a lot of Ben Johnson slander in the chat right now. Steve-O Baby said Ben Johnson plays Madden. Denver Blair says Ben Johnson likes to eat at Coney Island and not Lafayette. Tony Snow, Ben Johnson microwaves salmon in the office. Oh, that's awful. Rich Baldwin says Ben Johnson once pissed in the Detroit River. I mean, who hasn't really? But no, this is
body of water.
These are all obviously allegedly. Allegedly, Ben Johnson does these things that everyone in our chat is explaining. But you know, NFL teams, if you're looking at this guy, he's got all these accusations, whether they're true or not. I don't know if he's head coaching material, so you might want to take that into consideration when you're interviewing him this weekend. But speaking of the Detroit Lions, we got a lot of great quotes, a lot of great audio to hear. The first thing we're going to listen to is Alex Anzalone on the Amon-Ra the St. Brown Brothers podcast. And it's him talking about coming back from that arm injury. Obviously, we know he broke that arm in November, came back, played 68 of 69 snaps, I believe it was, and was just everywhere. Didn't miss a beat, was being his natural freak self, flying in, making tackles. Here's what Alex Anzalone and the Amon-Ra, the St. Brown brothers, had to say about his performance against the Vikings.
How's that
sore.
Sore?
Sore. It's bad. Like, yesterday was bad. After the game, it was bad. But today's a little better. Yeah.
What does it feel like? Because, like, it's obviously it's broke, but it's, I mean, what is the pack going to do, bro? Let's be real. Like, this shit is fucking cooked.
It feels like, I mean, it just hurts.
It's probably like sharp pain?
Yeah, more like dull achy, but it hurts.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
But like yesterday, I tried to like, lean back and like get up.
Right.
And I'm on the floor or whatever, and it's like, nah.
Yeah. What'd you caption? What'd you caption on Instagram? Like someone with dogs? What was that?
You know what it was.
No. It was like no. What was it? Everyone wants to be a dog. What is it? Fuck. No, I want to hear from him. What'd you say?
Everyone wants to be a dog until you gotta do some dog shit.
Yeah.
That's hard.
That is hard. He's like, that's hard. That's hard. Good Levy had a good quote too after the game. That shit was hard.
Oh yeah, that was harder, honestly, and that was like off the chain too.
So shout out to Anzalone because that is hard. Yeah, everyone wants to be a dog until it's time to do dog shit, and that's obviously him on the St. Brown podcast. That's crazy to me that he's like, yeah, it hurts really bad, and he's like, yeah, after the game, it was. This guy, his arm is still broken.
100%.
Like your arm, he broke his arm in November. It doesn't heal in 2 months, and it wasn't even 2 months. Like this guy is out there playing with a broken arm, playing at this level, being the soul of this defense, and he's just like, yeah, it hurts really bad, but what am I gonna do? And he's playing like a freak still, dude. I love Alex Anzalone.
Playing at another level right now, and he just embodies grit, the grit of this team, and you could tell that everybody around him plays better when Alex Anzalone is back in this lineup. And later on in the podcast, he said he tried to get up, and he was just, let me just not now, because he was so damn sore from this game. He put everything out on the line, and that's why getting this number 1 seed in the NFC and getting this bye week was so damn crucial. He has it a lot worse than a lot of other players, but a lot of other players are banged up as well. Yeah. This bye week is going to become and prove to be so critical for this team ultimately getting to the Super Bowl because these guys were able to rest up for 14 days.
Yeah, you talk about the guys that aren't going to come back, and Carlton Davis III and Derek Barnes, that's one thing. But guys that we didn't even hear an update on in John Kaminsky and it's Raxter, we don't know what's happening there. But the guys that are banged up, not the guys that are injured or out for the season, the guys that are banged up, the Kevin Zeitlers, the Terrion Arnolds, the Alex Anzalone, he's more than banged up, but they have, it means so much to give them that extra week of breathing, that extra week where Anzalone doesn't have to go out there, play again with that sore-ass arm. Yep. He gets another breather week, so it's going to be huge for them going forward. Chris, how did you feel about Anzalone just shaking off his broken arm, throbbing after a performance like that?
I mean, first of all, that is dog shit right there. Like,
yeah, that is real deal dog shit.
That is insane, and it just like Nick said, he embodies grit. And you talked about the wear and tear thing, and that to me has always been the biggest thing because I think a lot of these injuries that we're seeing from the Lions are because they play so much more physical than every other team.
Yep.
And that physicality wears you down and it wears your body down. And so just to avoid a week of that while also getting to rest up is absolutely huge and essential for this team. So I'm very much like you. I'm looking forward to seeing not only what the other guys that are on the injury list do, but now what these guys are that are banged up, that are playing day to day, that are playing through things. Like, we know this team is not healthy. We know that that DJ Reader has still been missing some practices here and there for a little bit of maintenance. Like, there's just a lot going on for this team right now. So it's essential that you get this bye. It was absolutely needed, and I think you're going to see a supercharged Lions come their next playoff game.
And Tony Snow in the Woodward Sports Chat says Ben Johnson never said free Rio. That's true. I've never heard Ben Johnson say free Rio. So think about that, NFL coaches or NFL GMs when you're looking to hire that guy.
Yeah, when you're looking to hire Ben Johnson. But I mean, speaking of a star right now, and it was Alex Anzalone stepping up for this team. Another guy that had to step up was a coach of his.
Yeah, this is a coach of his that he's loved for a while, that he's been with for a while. Here's what he had to say about Aaron Glenn as being a coach and a mentor for him.
I don't think we have that video. We just have the Anzo one.
Oh,
we just have the St. Browns.
Yeah, it's the second one. It's of Anzalone on Aaron Glenn.
Where is it? Hold on. That's my bet. Give me a second to grab it.
Yeah, we'll tell you about that in 1 second, but I'll tell you what. He's no Ben Johnson, all right?
These Ben Johnson's chats are hilarious.
It reminds me of the day when we did...
the Ben Johnson versus Aaron Glenn?
No, we did the TV or the movie names that could also be pornos, and it was just our whole show. It was all you guys are doing. It's literally what they're doing right now, but with Ben Johnson slander, and I love it, honestly. Yeah. But when you look at what Anzalone means to this team, we talked about it before. He is just extremely... No, Chris, it's in Slack. Nick sent it. This one.
I don't see it. I don't
It's in
see
the
it.
heavyweight
In the heavyweight slug.
I see the first one is the Anzo, then the next one is Reader.
The newest one Nick sent. Right here.
Why am I not seeing
You got to refresh maybe, but
Okay.
Anzalo
got you. Yep.
means a lot to this team, and these guys really fed off of that. Like, and Chris made a good point about why he got injured was because they play so physical, and we saw that like the Anzalone injury was self-imposed.
Yep.
Where it was friendly fire. I won't say self-imposed. That sounds bad. The Aiden Hutchinson injury was friendly fire. It's because these guys are playing at 100% all the time, and that's why it was insane to see Anzo just go back out there and do that same exact thing, still flying around the field. But here's what Anzalone had to say about his defensive coordinator, Aaron Glenn.
Which player or coach has had the biggest impact on your life?
Coach, I'd definitely say AG.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like he's probably one of the coaches that has kind of. I've always had confidence, but like, you know how like to do what I do now. You know what I mean? He's kind of like had that belief in me from day one, even in New Orleans, to do what I do.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what it is. And we've spoken with people that have been coached by Aaron Glenn about this. When me and Easy went and talked to Ali McNeil at the Pistons game, when we were courtside Pistons Lakers and we were in the back getting the free food and all that, shout out Chad, and we spoke with Ali McNeil about it, and he said Aaron Glenn is a genius. And it took Lions fans a little bit to realize that because the teams they saw and the players that he had to work with, but Anzalone has been with Aaron Glenn for a majority of his career, and you see how much he means to him. Aaron Glenn is one of the best defensive minds in football. We saw him just scheme up an absolutely insane scheme against the Vikings to throw Sam Darnold off and to take Justin Jefferson out of that game. We've seen him still have the 7th-ranked defense in the NFL. After all of these injuries, after losing Aiden Hutchinson, losing Ali McNeil, losing Carlton Davis, losing your linebacker depth, losing Anzalone for the majority of the season, to still have this much, not the majority of the season, just a little bit at the end of the season there, but to still have this much success with these guys you're piecing together when he finally got his stud defense. It proves how good of a coach Aaron Glenn is. It gives reason to why Aaron Glenn is such a vaunted head coach candidate, that this guy knows what he's doing. On top of that, he is that leader of men. Like, he is that guy, that rah-rah guy you love hearing. I love listening to his press conferences, to his speeches and stuff after game. Like, Aaron Glenn is such an important facet of this team, this culture, and this defense that it's going to hurt to see him go. And remember what he said. He wanted to be, when he first got here, he wanted to be the best defensive coordinator in the history of the Detroit Lions, and he wanted to make football violent again. And he's done at least one of those. You win a Super Bowl, you've done them both. Like, this guy is a stud. Shout out to Aaron Glenn, and Anzalone knows that firsthand because he's been his coach for so long.
And it took a while for Brad Holmes to be able to reload this defense, and then you saw it just break down with injury. Aaron Glenn, we are so lucky that this guy was able to come back along with Ben Johnson. You think about having the first-ranked offense in the NFL and the 7th-ranked defense. It's because of these coordinators and how skilled they are at getting the best out of their players. Anzalone and his confidence. This guy was like a 4th linebacker on the New Orleans Saints. Barely a starter at times. He's come in here and totally transformed this defense and what it looks like. Everybody in Detroit wasn't thrilled with Anzalone at the start of it, but the confidence that he was able to instill in Alex Anzalone moving forward, and every single other player on this defense to have that dog in them. That's what he teaches all of these players. They don't come up here looking to rap a little bit and, just barely get the guy down. They look to attack the opposing team's offense. And they're looking to bury you in the dirt, like where Amik Robertson came from.
Yeah.
That's what this defense is looking to do. And Anzalone's confidence is so great to see moving forward for this team, and we're going to need that moving forward.
Weezy D313 in the Woodward Sports Chat says, we've always had a defense. I see you roll with whatever narrative is week to week. Checks notes, the Lions had the 23rd ranked defense in the NFL last year.
Buddy.
Last year. Not their first year. Literally last year, they had the 23rd ranked defense in the National Football League. So if that's having a defense to you, do whatever you got to do. I mean, what are we doing here? Come on. Don't act like the Lions have had a stud defense for 5 years now. No, this was the defense with the most talent on it in Aaron Glenn's regime. Not even close. And he lost a lot of it, and it's still performing at a high level. So if a 23rd ranked defense is a defense to you, go do whatever you got to do. I don't know what to say to that.
So great to see, too. Obviously, we got the super chat here, but so great to see from Anzalone giving praise back to his DC that obviously he might be gone, or most likely is going to be gone at the end of the season. You want to get that super chat?
Yeah, shout out to the super chat in the Woodward Sports Chat. Dumbo Jumbo in there says, Ben Johnson acquires Hawk Tua from Hawk Tua while watching the St. Brown podcast talk about Hawk Tua coin, which was created by some chick named Hawk Tua who has a podcast called Talk Tua, allegedly. Let me try that again faster. Ben Johnson acquires Hawk Tua from Hawk Tua while watching the St. Brown podcast talk about Hawk Tua coin, which was created by some chick named Hawk Tua, who allegedly has a podcast called Talk Tua. Allegedly. So, yeah, I mean, that is a good point there. That is a good point there, Dumbo Jumbo.
Phenomenal super chat from Dumbo Jumbo there.
Helping us towards our goal of getting us to try the Jahymr burgers live on air. So if you want to see us have
if we
those,
double
keep
that,
that
you're going to have to do the McRib as well.
Super Bowl Wilson says the Lions were second against the run last year. Yeah, they were. And they were 23rd overall in the NFL. So, like, is that a good defense? That's a defense to you, 23rd ranked in the NFL? They were the worst secondary by far. They gave up a shit ton of points. They were not a good defense last year. Nothing you can say will convince anybody of that. Chase?
I was just going to say, in addition to like you guys talking about the super chat goal, I heard not only were you guys going to eat the Jahymr burger, but I heard the McRib will be making a comeback.
The McRib, I've never tried one. Nick had one and didn't like it. So
it was terrible. Oh my God. Yeah, if you guys really want to see some content, it is the eating of the McRib, and the heavyweights will do it. As soon as Easy's back from being sick, if you guys make him eat a McRib, that'd be an all-timer.
He'll be out another 2 weeks.
He'll be out another 2 weeks. Another Hawk Tua weeks. We're going to go to break, though. We're going to come back. And one of these important defensive acquisitions for the Detroit Lions this year that made it by far the best defense in Aaron Glenn's tenure in Detroit, both talent-wise and production-wise, you can't argue that, is DJ Reader, and he had some notes and some talking points about the city of Detroit and the Detroit Lions that I'm excited to hear. But first, tell us about Second Best.
Speaking of the city of Detroit, that's where Second Best is. It's the best bar in Detroit, located at 42 Watson Street. Come join us for the ultimate fan experience. It's the Woodward Sports Lions pregame show. Check us out. Only at Second Best Bar. Come get some best food in the city as well.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Congratulations to the real Coach of the Year, Motor City Dan Campbell.
Just put your head down and go to work. It's about to be fun, man. It's about to be fun.
Woodward Sports.
1800 Tequila is the smoothest tequila in the game and now a proud partner of the Detroit Lions and Woodward Sports as they team up for Woodward Sports Lions watch parties live at Hayes Social in Shelby Township. So if you're in the area, make sure you check it out. It is the best watch party in the game. Tune in via Instagram, Twitter, or YouTube. And when you're getting the best tasting tequila in the world, make sure you get the custom-made Lions bottle, a special bottle for a special season. 1800 Tequila. Please drink responsibly.
What up, though, everybody? Make sure you smash that like button. We appreciate you for tapping in. This is the Woodward Heavyweights live on Woodward Sports. For Nick on the desk, for Chase in the sound booth, for Chris in the TD booth. I am Spencer Raxter. We are the Woodward Heavyweights. Smash that like button. We just got done talking about Anzalone, his time on the St. Brown podcast, which was awesome. St. Brown podcast is great stuff. And little kind of under the radar thing. Amon-Ra St. Brown back with the Honolulu blue hair. Like you did last year, playoff season.
Perfect. If we hit 1,000 by the end of the week, the mustache is going blue.
There you go. $1,000 in super chats by the end of the week, and Nick will dye the mustache for the full length of the playoff run.
Yep.
So make sure you get those in there. But DJ Reader, a veteran presence, an important piece that was brought into this defense, a fantastic player in the middle of that defense, was on Jim Rome's show, and he was talking about Detroit, and here's what he had to say.
You know, when you and I spoke in the offseason and you signed with the Lions, it was obvious you were pumped. You were pumped to be joining that franchise. Has it been everything you thought it would be, or maybe even better?
Man, it's been even better. I guess it's everything I could ask for, from the coaching staff to the facility to just the support staff and everybody around. I think that's really the coolest part about the place, is that everybody's got one track mind to go win, and it seems important to them. And nobody's faking it. Everybody's out there working every day.
I mean, is that not like that everywhere you play? Like you would just assume that it is, but it's not, is it?
Yeah, I think you would just assume that it is. I think everybody doesn't work in as cohesive of a unit. You know, I think this is just all one unit moving together top to bottom, and, you know, what they care about upstairs is what we care about, and, you know, it's all in the direction of winning. I wouldn't say that it's not the direction of winning everywhere. I think everybody just does it different, you know, and so it's not necessarily as connected always as it is here.
And before we get into that, James in the Woodward Sports chat, 2 super chats in there. Appreciate you, James. He said, I was told Ben Johnson despises the Pop-Tart Bowl, and he just put it in. So nice he said it twice.
Terrible.
He was told Ben Johnson despises the Pop-Tart Bowl. What are we doing? It's the best bowl game out there. But DJ Reader there, he makes a good point, and this is what we've been hearing. We've heard it from Herman Moore. We've heard it from DJ Reader. We've heard it from so many different players, former players, Lions alumni, that this offense, or this front office, is truly in one zone. From Sheila Ford Hamp to Rod Wood to Chris Spielman to Brad Holmes to Ray Agnew, all the way down to Dan Campbell as coaches and players. They are a hive mind. They are a single entity, and all they know is crush, kill, and win. And they've been playing so well, you know it starts at the top. These guys want to play here. Everybody wants to play here. You hear Micah Parsons wants to play here. Nick Bosa wants to play here. You know why? Because Sheila Ford Hamp started at the top, and now she's got that rain dropping down on every part of this organization. They are locked in. They are dialed in. They know what they're doing. They're doing things well. They're listening to the players. They're listening to the fans, and they're taking care of business. Why wouldn't you want to be a part of that? Why wouldn't you want to be a part of an organization that's going to win on this level, that's going to treat their players, fans, coaches, and everybody with success, reward guys when they do well? Oh, you play for the Lions and you play well, you're going to get re-signed. Oh, you play for the Lions and you need 33 yards to get 1,000 on the year? We're going to spend 4 of our last 5 plays making sure you get that incentive. Oh, Josh Reynolds, you did some great things for us. You need 9 catches for an extra $100,000? We're going to throw you the ball 10 times to start the game. This all starts from the top, and it trickles down. And DJ Reader was so happy to get here. It was kind of like the Blake Griffin scenario in L.A. with DeAndre Jordan. As soon as DJ Reader walked in there, they told him, we're not letting you leave until we get it done. They didn't even have the return flight booked for him because they were so positive they were going to get it done. The confidence, the ownership, and just the breath of fresh air that Sheila Ford Hamp has brought into this organization is truly showing with stuff like this.
Speaking about getting brought into the organization, almost as big, I think, of bringing a guy like DJ Reader in is bringing a guy like Terrell Williams in to coach these dogs on the defensive line, fellas. When I think about this defensive line, I think about Aiden Hutchinson, I think about Aleem McNeil, I think about John Kaminsky, I think about Davenport. All those guys aren't playing. I think about Terrell Williams and what he's been able to do with the underdogs, with the backup's backup, with an Al-Qadim Mohammed who has 3 sacks in his last 5 games right now. I'm thinking about O'Connor, who's been big in spots for this team, who's hurt right now. But I'm thinking about DJ Reader being a leader. And I think Terrell Williams has been such a big part of that. When you talk about people wanting to come to Detroit, Terrell Williams was a very key coach in getting these guys turned around. And specifically, the backup's backup on the defensive line. I've been so impressed with this organization and their ability to find talent, not just on the field, but off of it for the sideline, coaching it as well.
Phil in the Woodward Sports Chat says our next DC, I believe he's talking about Terrell Williams, and I wholeheartedly agree. I think he's going to be the next choice for defensive coordinator.
I think Aiden Hutchinson would have won Defensive Player of the Year without a doubt.
Oh, it wouldn't have been close.
You saw him hit a different level because of Terrell Williams, and you saw him praise Terrell Williams earlier in the season and in the offseason. I mean, this guy's been phenomenal for this team.
Dan Campbell said he's the best defensive line coach in the world, and he's not wrong. Also, real quick, Chris, before we get to your thoughts on it, wait, where was it? I just saw it. DNC ENT says, I was told Ben Johnson tried booking DJ Reader's return flight. So, allegedly Ben Johnson was trying to get him out of town. I don't know if you want him as your head coach.
Well, we know Ben Johnson in flights. There's a little bit of a bad history there.
True.
So, I mean, I don't know if that's, again, I don't know if that's head coaching material. But, I'm glad, Nick, that you brought up the Terrell Williams factor, because I do think it's a twofold thing. I think it's not only the acquisition of Reader, but I also think it's the acquisition of Terrell Williams that's made this defensive line so good at times. At times it looked, man, dude, like I keep thinking of, and I know nobody wants to talk about next year because we're all locked in on this year, but like when you talk about next year, if you have Za'Darius with Hutch, like
when
with
you have
Aline,
Za'Darius with Smoke,
like.
And DJ Reader.
Yeah, man. Like, come on, dude. That is a beast. That is a beast defensive line. So I'm glad you guys screamed it. The synergy, top to bottom, is the important thing. That is the amazing thing about this team. And I'll extend that synergy to the fans. The fans of this team love the way this team plays. The fans are all bought in on the style of play. They understand exactly what it takes for this team to win and lose games. They know the expectations of all these players, and that just creates, to me, what has been one of the best sports moments of my life. I've never seen anything like this. I'm a basketball guy through and through. I love football, but basketball has always been my number one. I've never seen an organization top to bottom run this efficiently and connected with the fans this deeply. It's a beautiful thing.
And when have you seen players that come into this organization and talk about this team like this?
Never.
From the top down, DJ Reader has come from a Super Bowl contender in Cincy. I mean, Spencer, what would you grade DJ Reader in his first season as a Detroit Lion?
A+.
Yeah.
He's everything you wanted. He's everything you knew he was. He did it, and he gave you the best pass rushing season of his career. Which was only 3 sacks, but still, that's not his job.
Yeah.
But he's done exactly what you expected of him. He didn't miss he missed 1 game or 2 games to start the year. I don't remember exactly, but
you knew that going in.
And the guy has been a stud, dude. He's been a stud. Real quick, Chase, before we get your thoughts in there, I saw Rando Smalls in the Woodward Sports Chat said, my biggest worry is Ben Johnson takes Hank Fraley with him and AG takes Calvin Shepard too. That's exactly what I would see happening if that happens. And that would suck. But I don't think Ben Johnson... AG's gone. AG's gone. AG is going to be the head coach of the Saints next year. Ben Johnson, I'm still holding out hope for. Chase, what would you feel about what DJ Reader had to say about the culture here in Detroit?
I mean, stoked to hear it. I mean, that's what we've been trying to build. It starts from the bottom, and that's what Dan Campbell's been preaching since he got here, rebuilding the culture and just all-out grit. DJ Reader coming in here. We were talking in the back earlier. Like I said, I missed Nick Fairley, and I feel like just because I missed that big-bodied, present 300-pounder in the middle of the D-line, that's exactly what DJ Reader is for us. I mean, obviously it sucks to not having Aleem, but at least when Aleem goes down, we have DJ Reader and Levi O still right there to plug and play. DJ Reader was already a starter on this team, and he has playoff experience. He was in a Super Bowl. He's tasted that bitterness of the defeat in a Super Bowl, and that's why he came here to Detroit, because he wants to win one with these guys. He knows that his team is good enough to go win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I agree. We're going to go to break. We're going to come back. We're going to keep this culture and front office thing going. We got some more quotes coming up, but first, let me tell you guys about Les Stanford. Here it is. Are you overdue for a new car but feeling the financial pinch? Get an amazing deal from Les Stanford Chevrolet. Right now, a Blazer EV2 LT with all-wheel drive is only $149 per month, or check out the Equinox EV LT for only $169 per month. Get to Les Stanford today or click the QR code on the screen and check out their massive inventory. Don't forget, Les Stanford has Cadillac, Buick, and GMC as well. Les Stanford and Chevrolet in Dearborn and Ferndale. LesStanford.com.
2024 Detroit Lions are the hardest hitting, highest flying, trickiest playing, grittiest team in the NFL.
A dominant team.
Get all your coverage of your favorite team right here in your favorite network. Woodward Sports.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at LesStanford.com today.
It's bear hunting season, and Dan Campbell is hungry for some kneecaps.
If you can just get a hold of them and you start dragging their ass out to the deep, dark abyss, you can drown them.
The Kings of the North are back for another year of the brand new Lions. Make sure you're locked in to Detroit's #1 sports network for all the news and info on your Detroit Lions.
Woodward Sports, let's go.
Soroki's Crispy Chicken and Pizza has a limited time offer. Continuing through football season, Soroki's is debuting their fresh signature flavored wings this football season. Grab your friends, order a New York style pizza, add fresh wings for the games this weekend. Try one of their 7 different flavors. www.sorokis.com.
Nice job.
Thanks, what up, though, everybody, and welcome back to the Woodward Heavyweights Live on Woodward Sports. Make sure you smash that like button. Subscribe to the Woodward Sports YouTube channel. We're pushing over 76,000 subscribers.
Booming.
For Nick, for Chase, for Chris, I am Spencer. We are the Woodward Heavyweights. Easy's will tummy wumble in, so he's still not here today. But
3 days.
Hopefully he'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully he's feeling better and he'll be able to go. This thing's tape, whatever it is kicking his ass.
Better.
So Easy, stay hydrated, brother.
Shout out.
We just got done talking about what DJ Reader thought of the Lions culture so far since he's been here in Detroit. And real quick, Burn in the Woodward Sports chat says, my cope is that Ben is so young, 38, that he isn't in a hurry. AG is 52, and it's time for him to go get that bag. Yeah, like I said, Aaron Glenn for sure gone next year. He's going to be a head coach. The Saints. I would almost put my mortgage on it. But Ben Johnson, that's up for debate. We'll see. He's kind of skittish, kind of weird. We'll see what happens. And obviously, there's a lot of evidence allegedly in the chat why he shouldn't be a head coach in this league. But Scott Pioli of I believe this is the NFL Network. He's been a GM and a front office member in the NFL for 30 years. You know, his last gig was with the Atlanta Falcons, where he was the assistant general manager. He's obviously the former GM in Kansas City up until 2012, but here's what he had to say about the Detroit Lions and why they seem to have the leg up on everybody else in the National Football League.
Peter, I think what sets them apart from a lot of other organizations is the system that they have in place in terms of player acquisition and real-time player development. There's a marriage between the front office and the coaching staff that is really strong. Both sides understand that they need to serve one another. They are servant leaders. So when I look at this organization, everyone knows I've talked a lot about Sheila Ford-Hamp, about Dan Campbell. I think they're both fantastic, very deserving. Now we're hearing everyone talk about their assistant coaches and Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn. But the person we don't hear nearly enough about is my guy, Brad Holmes. Brad and his staff have done an absolutely incredible job. This is a game of attrition. These long seasons, and what we've watched happen with the Lions this year, they actually have 8 current starters that are out. They've had starters miss 109 starts in terms of games started. And that is very different as we see the other teams on this list right now. A lot of those other teams, no one else is in the playoffs. And I know this, and I know how hard it is because I lived this. Our Patriots team in 2003 started 42 different starters during that season, which was an NFL record for a division winner, until we broke that record again in 2005 when we had 45 different players having to start. We got knocked out of the divisional round. And I think part of what this is, injuries are not an excuse, but it is a reality in the National Football League, something that you have to pay attention to. And I think that Brad Holmes surely should be in the running, if not the NFL Executive of the Year. He's done a great job. Eric DeCosta has, Adam Peters, the Minnesota Vikings, Kwesi and Ryan Grigson together have done an incredible job. But that's what sets this Lions team apart, in my opinion.
And he's 100% right. Brad Holmes is the best GM in the National Football League.
Not
you see
even close.
How fast he's turned this roster around from what it was to, Neil's whole diatribe about paying those guys all that money to not even play, looking at Jamie Collins and Trey Flowers and all of those guys. But what he has now is the best, most complete roster in the entire NFL, and it's really not that close. You see what he does in the draft every single year, where we're like, is this the best draft the Lions have ever had? And then the next Brad Holmes draft goes, and it's like, is this the best draft that the Lions have ever had? And then another Brad Holmes draft, and he gets 2 more Pro Bowlers in the first round. So this guy is building something insane in Detroit, and now we're seeing it with the free agent acquisitions and the trades as well. Obviously, David Montgomery was a fantastic signing and a re-signing. Alex Anzalone was a fantastic signing and a re-signing. You get the trade with Carlton Davis, that was an extreme success. You bring in DJ Reader and Amik Robertson, that have been extreme successes. Brad Holmes is the best GM in sports. Brad Holmes is the best identifier of talent in the National Football League, and you saw that stat up there. The Detroit Lions have had 109 starters combined games not played. The next place team is over 20 less in Carolina with 86, and the other teams in the top 5 round out with the 49ers, Dallas, and Las Vegas. That's 4 teams that didn't make the playoffs. The Lions not only making the playoffs with the most starters combined games missed due to injury, they are the number 1 seed in the NFC. That not only talks about what Dan Campbell and his coaches have done, but the roster that Brad Holmes has built, the talent he has acquired, and even the ancillary pieces here and there to give you a couple games, and Ezekiel Turner, a Pat O'Connor, a Miles Adams coming in here and playing great. Brad Holmes is a mastermind, and it's just beautiful to see what he's doing with this Lions roster.
And you think about when he came in 2021, where was the NFL going? It was going all offensive based.
Yes.
You think about what was happening in the NFL and how the rules we're going and how many flags are flying. You can't touch any of these wide receivers. They're running loose. What does Brad Holmes go out and do in his next 3 drafts? He goes out, he drafts Jamison Williams, who's coming off a major injury. He drafts a running back / weapon in Jahymr Gibbs, who everybody was laughing at him for. He drafts a Sam Laporta in the 2nd round. He drafted Amon-Ra St. Brown in All-Pro, and he drafted Penei Sewell to anchor that offensive line. You're looking at 5 Pro Bowls for sure incoming for J-Mo, but you're talking about all pro type players.
Yes.
That's what he did, who has transformed your team into the number 1 offense within the NFL that nobody can touch. Nobody can stop this team when it's rolling and it's on track. And to be honest, it's rolling on track right now to go win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it is. And like I said, you guys know what I said about it when everybody went down. I doubted it, and I said they couldn't get it done. I hope they proved me wrong. And shout out to my guy, Everything King, in the chat. He said, yeah, it's not even close, talking about Brad Holmes being the best GM in football. This guy is special, man. He truly is. He's got the Midas touch. Everything he touches turns into all pros.
Oh, yeah.
Like, this guy is special when it comes to identifying talent and identifying players and identifying coaches and making changes. Obviously, that's a lot on Dan Campbell too, but Brad Holmes has some say on who's going to be an assistant coach under Dan Campbell. So I love Brad Holmes, and the thing I love the most about it is Bob Quinn. Right? Sorry, I know.
Don't say the word.
Like Voldemort. Like he's a fucking nerd. He was a nerd. A lot of GMs you see around are nerds. Brad Holmes, a football fucking guy, just like his head coach, just like his players. He's screaming in the elevator after the playoff win. Even a notorious psychopath football guy, Chris Spielman, was looking at him like, whoa, all right, buddy. Like, Brad Holmes is about that action. He bangs the desk when he gets the pick he wants. He freaks out. He's picking up his owner. Like, Brad Holmes is the man. He truly is.
And he was celebrating with the fans everywhere they go. When they're on these away trips, when the Detroit Lions fans take over away stadiums, Brad Holmes is there celebrating post games every game because the Detroit Lions haven't lost on the road all year long. This team is so special, and you talked about the 109 games that these starters have missed. Do you know how many excuses I have heard from the San Francisco 49ers this year that were on this list?
Yeah.
And to hear that Dan Campbell isn't a lock to win the Coach of the Year is the most absurd thing, I think, of all of the awards that are soon to be given out. That Dan Campbell is not the head coach of the year written in stone right now is ridiculous.
We're gonna come back to that. I like that. We're gonna talk about that when we come back. I want to get Chris and Chase in on this as well. But first, we got to go to break. Let me talk to you guys about Lady Jane's.
Lady Jane's.
At Lady Jane's, we take the chore out of getting a haircut. Our talented stylist will deliver an industry-leading haircut, relaxing scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins are always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Is that an octopus in your pants, or are you just happy to see me? See what I did there? Oh, Red Wings from Octopi Experts Woodward Sports.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? I say like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout. And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app online or in club and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon, and Ermanni and Edwards with Maz Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you.
Caesars Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of Woodward Sports. Make sure you tap in. Your first bet up to $1,000 will be risk-free. That's right. I said risk-free. You'll get it back in bonus bets with Caesars Sportsbook. Make sure you tap in. Caesars Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of Woodward Sports. What up, though, everybody, and welcome back to the Woodward Heavyweights live on WoodwardSports.com. Make sure you smash that like button. We appreciate everybody in the chat. Weezy D313,
Shout
Rebel,
out.
Phil, Mama Jan, Josh, Rich Baldwin, Thomas Rotundi, Runyon, Super Bowl Cartier, Super Bowl Wilson, Josh again, Chris Pugh, all of the usual suspects in the chat. Appreciate you. If you're new here, shout out, get a super chat out there, and we'll read your comment. It'll jump right to the front of the line. But we were talking, obviously, about the culture here, what DJ Reader had to say about it.
Second to none.
We talked about Brad Holmes, and then in that little segment, we all know this Lions team has been banged up. They suffered a lot of injuries this year, but I think to see it on paper, where the Detroit Lions combined starters missing games due to injury on the season is at 109 games combined. The second place team is the Carolina Panthers at 86. The third, fourth, and fifth place teams all didn't make the playoffs, being 49ers, Dallas, and Las Vegas. So 4 of the 5 teams didn't even make the playoffs in the top 5, but the number 1 team by over 20 games not only made the playoffs, but was the number 1 seed in the NFC. And Nick said that is stone-clad why Dan Campbell should be Coach of the Year, and I don't think anybody would disagree with him on that fact. Chris, how do you feel about Brad Holmes building a roster to survive this kind of upheaval because of injury, and Dan Campbell coaching his way through it?
Yeah, it's cool. No, I know. I mean, look, it's every facet of his job he is great at. He's great at identifying talent. I don't know if there's a better drafter in any sports. He is excellent at putting together a staff. He's excellent in player acquisitions. He's excellent in trades. I mean, this guy just does everything and does it all well. You know, usually you have to pick your skill sets as a GM. You know, do you value a guy that drafts more? Do you value a guy that can get that big free agent in the room and make that big splash? But he does every part of it. So to me, Brad Holmes is just the equivalent best GM in sports, and I love the fact that Dan Campbell's getting praised, because weeks ago I said, hey, given the context of these injuries, and I'm glad we now got the numbers to back that up, but shouldn't Dan Campbell be considered head coach of the year? And I know that award usually goes to the team that, you know, had the low expectations and overachieved. And I'm not trying to knock those, because those are impressive feats as well. But to be given, you know, I believe the Lions over-under was, what was it at? Was it at 11.5 or 12.5 to enter the season? I believe it was 11.5. And for them to win 15 games and have all these injuries, record-setting injuries, come on, man. Dan Campbell has to be Coach of the Year. He literally exceeded expectation with also record-breaking injuries, man. I mean, you got to love it. And, again, shout out to Brad Holmes' is just foresight as a GM, because he was pitching all those injury player rules all this offseason. So this guy knows what he's doing at every single level, man. It's impressive. And like I said earlier, it's nothing I've seen in sports. I can't point to another example.
He's checked every box. His skill set as a GM is unquestionable when you talk about identifying, drafting, and developing talent from the draft, when you talk about grabbing players in free agency to make impacts, and when you talk about making trades like this, and even grabbing players mid-season off of waivers, off of practice squads to come in here and have impacts. Dude, Brad Holmes is as good as it gets. And Chase, how do you feel about that? And him, same question with Chris, building this roster to survive this cataclysmic amount of injuries the Lions have had.
I mean, I don't think you can doubt anything that they do. Even going into this last offseason, into the draft, people were talking about possibly questioning some of the decisions being made. And we saw it the year before with the Jahymr Gibbs pick and the Sam Laporta pick and the Jack Campbell pick and the Brian Branch pick, like all those 4 in a row, and then how well they produced in their first year. I mean, there's no reason, guys like Anzalone coming in and making a difference and being leaders for this team, bringing in guys like DJ Reader. There's nothing they've done anywhere along the path of building this team to make you think they don't know what they're doing, to make you question any decisions they're making. We all just need to sit back, enjoy the ride, and understand that they are a lot smarter than us.
And we've seen him attack this draft specifically a lot different this season. It seemed like a more stash and draft type approach when you double up with a guy like Terrion. You go late for a guy like Mahogany. You know, I enjoy it. And Vaki in the 4th. I mean, these guys weren't going to play right away. But speaking of Mahogany, I mean, talk about the next late round gem from Brad Holmes. From what we've seen from Mahogany so far, I thought it's been extremely impressive. But another guy that Brad Holmes brought in the offseason, which I thought was one of the biggest offseason additions, was that right guard, Pro Bowler for the Ravens, Kevin Zeitler. Because we've seen when this offensive line stands up for Jared Goff, he is legitimately a top 5 quarterback in the league who is able to produce a number 1 offense to go along with that great run game with Jahymr Gibbs and David Montgomery to set up that play action moving forward. Chris, where are you at with everything?
Well, one more point I wanted to make on the Brad Holmes thing too is that going forward with Brad Holmes, you have to have trust in the long-term sustainability of this franchise because you have a guy like him at your helm. Remember the discussions we had about draft capital at nauseam? We had draft discussions about.
Yeah, your mic's cutting in and out. Yeah, but you talk about these late draft picks, these late sleepers, and I see it all over the chat. Wingo being one of them, Mekhi Wingo being one of them, who obviously he went down with the injury as well, but he looked very promising in the showings that he was giving at the beginning of the year for the Lions. And I look at a guy in Jahymr Manu, who you bring in here, you need to develop. Next year, I see him being that Dan Skipper role. I see him being that swing tackle that they bring out there, the extra guy on the outside to move, and then eventually him developing into Taylor Decker's replacement and being that starting left tackle going forward. But I see him getting a lot more reps next year after he's comfortable and he's got his feet under him in that swing tackle position that we see Dan Skipper doing so well in this offense. So on top of that, like you said, Christian Mahogany, that guy might be your starting right guard next year. Or, very, I would not be surprised at that at all. And Terrion Arnold, Ennis Rakestraw, these drafts that Brad Holmes is compiling are just insane when you look at them from afar, man.
I kind of like Mahogany at left guard and putting Glasgow back at
right guard.
Right? I really do. I like him between Panay and Ragnow a little bit more, and we'll see how much Frank has left in the tank. We always talk about the bionic toe and everything, but he's been an absolute warrior this season. That's been super impressive. And I think Mahogany slides in really good at left guard with being a great run blocker as well.
And Runyon says, what? No Skip? And I love Dan Skipper. Great human being. He's been great for the Detroit Lions. He's a free agent next year. Kevin Zeitler's also a free agent next year. Derek Barnes is also a free agent next year. You got to get a Kirby Joseph deal done.
J-Mo.
Carlton Davis is also a free agent next year. You got to get a Jameson Williams deal done. Like, it adds up. And I think if Dan Skipper would be a casualty on that cap, which wouldn't be the craziest thing in the world to happen, but I could definitely see them getting him back on a very cheap deal as well. I think Jahymr Manu filling that role for him next year in the offense with the kind of physical freak that guy is, I could see that happening very easily.
That'd be great to see moving forward. And just with Brad Holmes, he doesn't act like the smartest guy in the room. We talked about it with a Bob Quinn. We talked about it and how we thought he was, big analytical, like big time nerd when it comes to football. He doesn't act like the smartest guy in the room. He did go running back in the first round. He did go inside linebacker in the first round. And he backed it up with tight end and safety. And he got destroyed for it. He knows ball.
Yeah.
Through and through, he just knows good football players. And so what, you didn't run a 4.3 on your 40-yard dash. When you look at Brian Branch and you looked at his college tape, you were like,
you knew this guy
can play.
You knew he was a dog.
And his speed plays on the football field. Brad Holmes doesn't overthink it. He drafts dominant football players, and that's what we've seen out of him. And that's what gives me so much confidence moving forward if you do have to lose some of these guys, because realistically, you shouldn't be able to pay them all, or else this might turn into the biggest dynasty you've ever seen.
Yeah, no, you're not going to be able to pay them all, unfortunately. But you're like, I didn't even say you're going to have to get a Hutch deal done too. There's a lot coming down the pipeline, and like you said, Dan Skipper, I could easily see him signing a 1-year, very cheap deal to come back. But also, Dan Skipper has been a fringe guy, just making teams off practice squads his whole career. Now, what he's established for himself, he could go get maybe not starting money somewhere, but a good backup contract somewhere, and I don't know if the Lions would be willing to pay him that kind of money. So if he gets, a couple $1 million a year, I don't know if the Lions would match that, but we'll see. Obviously, go win the Super Bowl first. Then you can pay Dan Skipper whatever the fuck you want. I love Dan Skipper. I would love to see him be on this team long term, but that is a guy that you could see being outpriced for his role in Detroit, especially with the guys you have coming back. I don't know, man. I could do this all day, just talk about Brad Holmes and what he's done. He's a wicked genius. But we're gonna go back and we're gonna come back with some. All right, what do you guys want? Everybody in the chat, appreciate you tapping in. During this commercial break, say positive or negative. Because it's either we're talking shit about somebody for being negative about the Lions, or we're praising someone for being positive about the Lions. We got 2 Lions topics. You decide which ones go first, positive or negative in the chat. First, tell us about merch.
Well, let me tell you about merch now that Ben Johnson's done cutting my mic. Shout out Denver Blair for that one.
Shout out.
Go to woodwardsports.com, click that shop tab there, get yourself some brand new merch. If you missed out on a gift for the holiday season and they are a Detroit sports fan, this is the perfect place to go. Affordable hoodies, tees, hats, all of that. Go to woodwardsports.com, click that shop tab today and get yourself some brand new merch.
Lions are playoff bound and ready to eat the kneecaps of anyone standing in our way. Follow Woodward Sports as we cover the best season in Detroit Lions history. Go Lions!
Talk about pressure, we live in pressure. That's where we freaking thrive. You did it again.
From Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer, is kicking off the game with the best prices on all cars, trucks, and SUVs, like this 2024 Silverado for just $296 a month, or this 2025 Equinox for as low as $371 a month. Our locations in Novi, Highland, New Hudson, Livonia, and Lansing means we have the perfect Chevy right in your backyard. Get the home team advantage every day at Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man-meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Live watch party in the post-game show only at Hayes Social. Make sure you tap in. It's always a good time. Me and Easy on the watch party, giving our best reactions. Not gonna lie, I'm gonna toot my own horn. I thought I had some pretty good calls this year.
Really?
I really had fun doing that. I think it's a great thing. I think I could do it at a different level. Just saying. If you need somebody to call a game, I think I'm pretty good at it. We got Easy as well. He's all right. He's a little sick. And then you've got New Holland Brewing Company playoff post-game show afterwards with Stick and Anson, presented by New Holland Brewing Company, Sabbath Coffee Roasters, Soroki's Crispy Chicken and Pizza, and 1800 Tequila. What up, though, everybody? Welcome back to the Woodward Heavyweights, live on Woodward Sports. Make sure you smash the like button. For Nick, for Chase, for Chris, I am Spencer. We are the Heavyweights. Honestly, it looks like pretty much right down the middle. We asked you.
You just can't count.
It looked. I mean, I didn't count them all. I'm not that much of a Rain Man, but it looks. It looks pretty right down the middle. So I'm going to go with the negative, and we're going to tear some people apart. Because, again, the Lions are being disrespected with these Pro Bowl All-Pro votes. The NFLPA, the NFL Players Association, meaning players that play in the NFL currently, voted for their All-Pro teams.
Salty.
Only one Detroit Lions player made it, that being Penei Sewell. No Kirby Joseph, no Jahymr Gibbs, no Amon-Ra St. Brown, no Jared Goff, none of those guys. Only Penei Sewell being the player to make it off of the NFLPA's vote for All-Pros. And this screams jealousy to me. This screams you're not as good as us, so you're mad. Amon-Ra St. Brown not making an all-pro team is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Kirby Joseph not making an all-pro team is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. This is just blatantly false. And I know you're in the trenches, and I respect that. And I've never played football at that level before, and I never will. But you're wrong. You are wrong. Amon-Ra St. Brown is one of the 3 best receivers in football this year. Kirby Joseph is the best safety in football this year per any metric you looked at. So I understand we've been whooping ass, kicking the shit out of shitty teams all year. We won the North. We won 15 games. We won the North back-to-back years. You guys are used to the Lions being poverty and mad. When we come into your house, our fans buy more tickets than your fans. You can't handle that, so you don't vote for our guys. But just please have some integrity, because this is just sad. Jealousy is ugly. Stop it.
Anytime you see these 1 seeds come along and these 15-win type teams, you see the accolades come with it.
Yeah.
And I feel like so many times this season, these Detroit Lions players got disrespected.
Mm-hmm.
How does the guy that leads the league in interceptions, Kirby Joseph, with 9, get left off of this list with 12 passes defended
and passer rating
total
allowed.
tackles? And yeah, exactly, best passer rating allowed. Do you think this could be a point for Kirby specifically with all of the bad PR, maybe even starting with a guy like Matthew Stafford, calling him a dirty player.
100%.
Is this the kind of stuff that happens after guys like that in the league, veterans in the league, say this about a certain safety?
Pussies in the league, like Matthew Stafford, say that about a certain safety. And yes, that is definitely what started the narrative. Is he walked up to, and the biggest bullshit is that pussy Matt Stafford walked up to him during the play and goes, "That was a good hit, that was a clean hit, but you know you're dirty as fuck, right?" Shut up, dude. Like that's just such a bitch ass move. And it is the narrative that people hear and people go with.
Yep.
And you know, players that don't play the Lions hear that narrative and see the Lions having so much success and being like, already mad at them because we're better than them. Already mad at them because our team is outselling their team and we're taking over their stadiums. And then they're gonna go bring that bullshit narrative on top of it. It's exactly what it is. And it is Matt Stafford's fault.
I mean, look, it's simply put, we are America's team, America's hero, and the NFL's villain. That's what it's come to. This is a team that they grew to love, respect, appreciate. Players around the league were talking very nice about the Lions a couple seasons ago when we were cute, when we were fun, when we almost made the playoffs, when we almost, when we ended Aaron Rodgers' Green Bay playoff hopes. Like, that was when we were cute. Now we're all grown up. Now we're dogs. Now we're taking their food, and they don't like it. And I can't blame them for it. And I personally don't care. And I don't think this Lions organization cares. We just spent the last 30 minutes talking about how great our GM is, and what has he donned? He's donned the villain hoodie the whole time. And this is a team and an organization that top down has synergy. We just talked about it earlier in this show. So to me, all of this is no surprise at all. And you know what? I don't care what the rest of the NFL thinks. I don't care what their peers think about us. I care about the wins and the losses. I care about this team competing for a Super Bowl, which they are as Super Bowl favorites right now.
Great take, Chris.
And I think the reason Amik's quote resonated with so many Lions fans is because they can't bury what comes from the fucking dirt. That is the Detroit Lions fans. That is the Detroit Lions. I think that's why so many people in that locker room specifically love that quote from Amik Robertson, and it got the boys fired up. And it didn't just get the guys in that locker room fired up. It got this city fired up. Chris, I think you're exactly right where, yeah, this was the dog that you could kick while it was down for so damn long, and it was the butt end of every single joke. And now that they are the bully, they are the team that's going to beat the living shit out of you and have fun doing it with top down in the organization. Brad Holmes celebrating after wins like we talked about. Sheila Hamp fired up. That's why I think everybody's so salty, because they're having a grand old time doing it. And yeah, you can't laugh at this team anymore. You can't laugh at this city anymore. This organization is the best in football, second best. They will be soon after they get that Super Bowl. But that's why I think everybody is so salty.
And I agree. And, Spartan Dog, Zach Randolph, in my hood, bullies get bullied. Where I'm from, bullies get bullied. And I think all of these guys now, like you said, that they're mad. They're mad that the Lions aren't the whipping boy anymore. They're mad that the Lions aren't that immediate X to cross off on your schedule knowing you got a dub. They're mad that the Lions are coming into your house, punking you in front of your fans, and then celebrating with their fans afterwards. They're mad that we're coming in, taking your lunch money, kicking our feet up, and owning residents. So be mad. But don't be jealous. That's ugly. You don't want to be the Lions, right? You guys don't want to be the Lions, the sad old Lions, the poverty Lions, right? We're just 15-2 in the number one seed in the NFC. You could be like us. You could want to be like us, but it's not going to happen. You don't have the chops. You don't have the GM. You don't have the owner, and you don't have the head coach. They have built this team into what it is. So, sorry.
Yeah,
Good luck next year.
I think Kirby was a lock should have been on that list. And you talked about Jahymr Gibbs and Amon-Ra. Which one do you think deserved it more out of those two from the players? Because, I mean, you've seen it in the league again.
Yeah.
The disrespect. I mean, even a guy like George Pickens, slot merchant. Amon-Ra St. Brown, he gets it from Ben Johnson.
Maybe George Pickens should turn into a slot merchant because he can't catch a ball to save his life.
Exactly. That's what. Why do these guys not get respect around the league?
That's literally what it is. They're mad that we're not terrible anymore. And they're mad that we're not the Panthers still. They're mad that we're this team that is showing signs of being consistently great for a while with how it's built. Like, this isn't just, last year it was, 2 years ago. They were on a lucky run. They got hot. It was a lucky run. Last year, oh, it was a flash in the pan. That's not going to happen again. Oh, back-to-back NFC North champs and the NFC number 1 seed this year. What are you going to say now? You can't say anything. You got to sit there and be salty because this is a juggernaut built from the mud, and they're not going anywhere for a long time.
You heard the Packers talk shit this year. You've heard the Cowboys talk shit this year. You've heard many teams talk shit this year. And to be honest, I think they're jealous. I think these players are jealous that they're not playing for Dan Campbell. I think they're jealous that they don't have Ben Johnson. We talked about it earlier in the show. They are jealous that they're not getting the confidence from their defensive coordinator like Alex Anzalone's getting from a guy like Aaron Glenn. That's what it screams to me. It's jealousy from opposing players that they're not in this organization here for the special run, and they're not here in those locker rooms. I'm sure they watch those locker room speeches after the game. Salty as all hell because they're not a part of it. That's what I believe in. Chase, you agree?
Oh, yeah, 100%. The Lions have made the NFL like their stepchild over the last few years. And now they're secretly hoping that, mom and dad would get back together. But mom just came in with that diamond ring on her finger, and the NFL is going to have to fucking sit here and listen to their mom get fucked by the Detroit Lions in the next room. Not just this year, not just next year. Sean Galician's predicting that the KC Chiefs might win 3 Super Bowls in a row. This team is built for the next 3 years.
Facts.
And I think not only are they going to be in the Super Bowl this year and win it this year, but we're going to be the favorites for a long, long time. We're going to be fucking your mom for a long, long time.
Detroit piping moms. That's it.
Yeah. We're piping moms. We're taking
Fellas
names.
with the bars today.
Yeah, that was a great segment. We're going to go to break. We're going to come back. But first.
Hey, real quick. I got to shout out Jack Fox. I think he should have been on this list as well. All-pro.
Facts.
Leading the league in yards per punt. And if his career ended right now, he would set the record all time for yards a punt. Jack Fox definitely should be on this list, and because he's not, I hope he's on the actual list when it goes down.
He should be.
She got to show some love. He showed love to the network, giving us some interviews in the past.
Yeah, shout out. Jack Fox is the man. Friend of the network. Dude's got a cannon, too.
Yes.
We know obviously we've seen it in games. Like, he's completed passes in games, but he was in Woodward Sports one time slinging that bitch around. He's got a cannon. We're going to go to break. We're going to come back. Let me tell you about Planet Fitness. Planet Fitness is the home of the judgment-free zone where anybody, we mean anybody, can get a full body workout in 30 minutes, a 30-minute circuit, a friendly, knowledgeable staff, and a judgment-free atmosphere. You can get that for only $15 a month or upgrade to the Black Card. Get use of amenities like hydro massage, total body enhancement, and access to over 2,500 locations worldwide. Planet Fitness. Join in club or online at planetfitness.com. Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential.
Can't get enough Lions coverage? Make sure you catch all Woodward sports shows every game day. Wake up with Woodward and Maine, giving you the latest insight into the Lions locker room and press conferences. Then join the Lions pregame show, highlighting key matchups, injuries, and what to watch for during the game. Follow all the ups and downs of the live game action with our Woodward Watch Party live on YouTube and WoodwardSports.com. After the game, check out the instant fan and host reactions with the Lions postgame show. Every game, it's wall-to-wall, kneecap-biting, high-fiving, chest-pumping Lions coverage.
Hell yeah!
Only at Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Woodward Sports, let's go.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
The countdown to kickoff is here. Your Detroit Lions are ready for another season of grit. Woodward Sports is your #1 destination for all breaking news and Lions coverage. We are Detroit's #1 sports network. We are Woodward Sports.
All right, Woodward sports fans, whether you're hitting the game or just chilling, Jars Cannabis has you covered. Jars is home to Michigan's largest lineup of rec cannabis products. They've got 27 locations across the state, repping Michigan in a big way. 9 locations are right in Metro Detroit, so there's one nearby. And if you're in Grand Rapids, Madison Heights, or Milan, get ready. New stores are coming your way soon. Shout out Milan. Check it out.
What up, though, everybody? Welcome back to the Woodward Heavyweights. Smash that like button. Appreciate you joining us. Make sure you get your super chats in there to get jumped up to the front of the line. For Nick, for Chase, for Chris, I am Spencer. We are the Heavyweights. We just got done going hard on the players in the NFL.
Salt.
Because they're being a little salty about these Detroit Lions and what they should be awarding them when it comes to All-Pros. The NFLPA only voted Penei Sewell as the only All-Pro on this Lions roster, which is just blasphemous. But now we go to the positive stuff. We got a tweet here about this red zone defense. We talked about this red zone defense before. Obviously, at the beginning of the year, it was extremely impressive. And then that last game against the Vikings, man, what can we say? What else can you say? And this is from Detroit Lions PR. It says, when teams have thrown passes in the red zone against the Lions this year, they are 7 of 52. That's only 13.5% for 71 yards, 7 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions for a 39.6 quarterback rating. This marks the most interceptions, lowest completion percentage, and lowest passer rating by any NFL team. So the Detroit Lions this year have the best red zone defense in the history of the NFL. Let me read that again, Chris. Don't worry, I got it. 7 of 52. That's 13.5%. For 71 yards, 7 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions for a 36.9 quarterback rating allowed. That is in the red zone against the Detroit Lions this year. That is absurd. That is an absurd stat line.
That's the most insane stat I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
It's crazy. It is crazy. Like I said, the best red zone defense in the history of the NFL. This is quite literally... Remember why Super Bowl Wilson, and Weezy D pointed out the Detroit Lions had the number 2 running defense in the NFL last year. You remember what sucked about the Lions defense last year? That secondary was getting abused. And you look at this kind of stat. Obviously, Carlton Davis played a huge role. Amik Robertson has played a huge role. Terrion Arnold has done very well on the outside, and then you got the best safety combo in the NFL.
Not close.
That is fucking crazy. Think of how good the Lions are when it comes to throwing in the red zone. All those touches. We saw it with Gibbs. You've seen it with Amon-Ra St. Brown at the goal line and a lot of different things. You don't throw in the red zone against the Detroit Lions, and you can't run the ball at all against the Detroit Lions. This is truly just a fascinating step.
Aaron Glenn masterclass. Brad Holmes masterclass. We talk about the players that he's brought in to change this team around. This stat just does not happen overnight.
No.
They revamped this secondary. You brought in a guy to stop the run in Reader, and I got to give a little bit of credit to Ford Field, because when things get tough, they get loud, and they get loud a lot, and they get loud early. But when they're in the red zone, it gets even tougher. And I just want to shout out Kirby goddamn Joseph, because a lot of those interceptions coming from Kirby.
Facts, they are.
Big times. Brian Branch, you think about the Cowboy game.
Yeah, we've seen it throughout the year, man. And I think against the Minnesota Vikings, that's why I am confident that this team is going to win the Super Bowl again, because the way they shut down Justin Jefferson, Addison, Sam Darnold, and that offense in the red zone over and over and over and over again all night, that was one of the most impressive things I've ever seen. Like, they were getting into the red zone. Kevin O'Connell was like, we're going for it. We got to score a touchdown this time, please. And they couldn't. They couldn't do it. The Lions were stopping them every single time, no matter the penalty, no matter the missed delay of game, no matter if it was Amik Robertson and Justin Jefferson on an island one-on-one in the end zone. It doesn't matter. You're not scoring a touchdown. And that's how you win games in the NFL. You don't allow teams to score touchdowns.
And you hit on Amik Robertson right there and how well of a job he did on Justin Jefferson. And St. Brown, when he was talking about him, Amon-Ra, that is, holy hell, he did not have enough nice words to say about Amik Robertson. It, like, the just absolute definition of a guy with a chip on his shoulder. I think moving him to outside cornerback with the injury of Carlton Davis, has really opened up what he can become in the NFL within AG's scheme right now. He is a weapon.
We saw it in Vegas, too, when he got moved to the outside. That's really when he flourished. And like I said, we know he's been one of the best tackling cornerbacks, if not the best tackling cornerback in the NFL all year. The guy comes up, and if he gets his hands on you, you're not breaking that tackle. He's fantastic at that. But his coverage outside, on the outside, since he's had to bump out there after Carlton Davis went down with the jaw injury, it's been a revelation. It's because that was something fans worried about. And we decided, is it going to be Vildor out there? Are they going to move some guys around? What are they going to do? They've bumped Amik Robertson to the outside. The return of Ife Melifonwu has helped ease that a lot.
Definitely.
Because his versatility to be able to play safety, to play nickel, to play wherever you need him, helps Amik Robertson be on the outside and not have to worry about that nickel cornerback spot. Amik he's been lights out, man.
And in this last game specifically, you saw Sam Darnold missing pretty close on like a lot of these throws. He was pretty close. It was hitting Jefferson's hands. It was hitting a lot of these wide receivers' hands. Does that concern you at all that it is Sam Darnold and not a guy like, Matthew Stafford or Baker Mayfield that might be coming in here for when times get tough in the playoffs? Because we saw a lot of those fourth downs. They could have been, pretty different in this game. Luckily, they weren't because Sam Darnold turned back into a pumpkin who can't throw the ball to save his life. But that's Sam Darnold. And when you go up against a guy with playoff experience, do you think if they don't get home, do you think that result looks a little bit different?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when you're playing Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson, it's going to be a lot harder than when you're playing Sam Darnold to make that thing happen. But we've seen them get pressure. We've seen them be consistent. And it wasn't just Sam Darnold that was throwing interceptions in the end zone to the Lions. Obviously that was the best performance that we've seen. And Sam Darnold looked good, very good for a lot of the year. But yeah, it's definitely going to take more of an effort to get home against an elite quarterback compared to playing Sam Darnold. But you love to see that, and you love to see it happen against guys that it should happen against. Like, do I expect Josh Allen to go 0 for 4 on touchdowns in the red zone against the Detroit Lions? Probably not. That's probably not going to be happening.
Hell no.
That's a little unrealistic to expect that. Do I expect him to go 1 for 4 or 2 for 2? 2 for 4? Yeah, I expect them to stone him a couple times because they've proven they can do it against anybody, against anywhere. And I just, Aaron Glenn, man, that loss is going to hurt. This guy truly is a genius.
And we talked about Alex Anzalone at the start of the show. I want to shout him out just one more time again because the Lions would have had the 30th ranked defense when Alex Anzalone doesn't play.
Yeah.
That's how much of a difference he makes. And you guys remember what happened in that Buffalo game. A lot of the tight ends did get open, and maybe our defense wasn't set like you wanted to. Who didn't play in that game? Alex Anzalone.
100%.
So with him back, I think it does set us up better to go against these elite quarterbacks when you are playing the mind games, when you are going read for read with the Mahomes, with the Josh Allen, with the Lamar Jackson, even a Jalen Hurts for that matter, if it gets down to an NFC Championship game. I think to have Alex Anzalone setting up the line and setting up this defense is going to put you in a great spot where you let your offense put up 35+ and you're going to win the Super Bowl.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, we got breaking news over here?
I mean, no, Paulo's already coming back.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I didn't know he was going to come back.
It's over for those peasants in my fantasy basketball league.
Take that smile off your face. We're worried about the Pistons, Chris.
We're going to talk about those Pistons coming back.
I'm trying to talk about the Pistons.
We're going to talk about those Pistons coming back because they're going for 5 wins in a row tonight against the Brooklyn Nets. But first, let me tell you guys about New Holland Brewing Company. New Holland Brewing Company in Taller Long Drink is the best canned cocktail you can get. It's a gin-based cocktail with real grapefruit puree, and it's just good. Like, it's a good drink. If we weren't sponsored by it, if it wasn't funding the network, I would still order it in stores. It is that good. You can get it at a Total Wine near you. I drink a million of these every time we are at Second Best. New Holland Brewing Company and Taller Long Drink, the best canned cocktail in the game. Go get some and support Michigan-based companies.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
Congratulations to the real Coach of the Year, Motor City Dan Campbell.
Just put your head down and go to work. It's about to be fun, man. It's about to be fun.
Woodward Sports.
Sabbath Coffee Roasters, I'm telling you, support Michigan companies. It's extremely important that we support those who support us in our communities. Sabbath Coffee Roasters, it's the best coffee you can get. They will deliver it fresh to your door. You wake up, you got a great bag of coffee ready to be made. Delicious coffee delivered right to your doorstep. Choose your favorite roast. Use code word Woodward to get 25% off your first subscription order. SabbathCoffeeRoasters.com. What up, though, everybody, and welcome back to the Woodward Heavyweights live on Woodward Sports. Nick on the desk for the three-peat. Chase in the booth again. Appreciate you, Chase, filling in. Easy. And shout out to Chris, as always, in the TD booth. I am Spencer. We are the Woodward Heavyweights. And I see it in there right now in the Woodward Sports chat from Dewan Israel. He says Detroit is too lit right now, and he is right, factual. Bro. We are undefeated in the year 2025. Detroit, as a whole, is undefeated in the year 2025. The Lions, the Red Wings, and the Pistons. It's awesome. Detroit Pistons looking to tie the Red Wings for best win streak in Detroit. 5 in a row tonight against the Brooklyn Nets. Chris, we'll go to you first. You're the basketball savant here. Do the Pistons get it done against the Nets tonight in Brooklyn?
Absolutely. This is not a team that comes from the previous Piston regimes where you put your foot off the gas. This is a team that is more talented, and let's face it, Brooklyn is facing a lot of injuries right now. No Cam Thomas, no Cam Johnson. There's a lot of injuries facing Brooklyn right now, and this Piston team is just flat out better already. So to me, this team is going to be lit. They know what it means. Kate Cunningham's been doing interviews all week talking about this, talking about what it means to just be 500, the stepping stones it takes to be a championship contender. Cade understands that process. He's not taking shortcuts, and today is going to be an example of why the Pistons are a different team, why the foundation that they have built is different than previous regimes. So I'm just excited for what this is. I think they get the job done. I think they get it done pretty handily. I'd like Malik Beasley to come back. I'm not going to put my money on it because he is in a shooting slump right now. So
I put my money on it.
I know you did it. I respect it, but I'm gonna let him get one game before I go back to putting some cheddar on him. But I think
money don't make no money.
That's factual. I'm looking at Jalen Duren. Jalen Duren the last 5 games has been absolutely awesome for this team, and I need to see him continue that because I said it yesterday. This is a Jalen Duren leap away from hosting a playoff series.
For sure.
Paolo's coming back right now, so Orlando's getting healthy, but they still got no Franz. They still got their other injuries. Pistons are only a couple games back of that 4 seed right now.
Yeah.
I really think that they can make a push if they continue to play Detroit basketball the way they have been.
I agree. And you're looking at Kid Cunningham and what he's doing. And I see Adam Pyatt in the Woodward Sports chat saying, get that fight song ready, buddy.
What?
Sing that fight song, big dog. It's going to happen. I'll do the trumpets. Wait. You want to do it right now?
No, we'll do it when we get back.
We'll do it right before we
get back. We're at the end, buddy.
I'm very, very happy with the way the Pistons have been playing. I will sing the fight song at the end of this.
Oh, yeah. I am too. Like, my brother, my sister-in-law, they live in Brooklyn. They're going to the game tonight to see the assassination of the Brooklyn Nets. And this is going to be a game that they're going to win by 15. Like, I think this is a game that Pistons...
Spread's -9, I think.
Pistons go out there and mollywop the Nets in this one. Obviously, the Nets, they're a bad team. They're a tanking team. They're looking to avenge, the losses that they've suffered from getting trade something by Boston still. So I think they're going to go out there. They're going to take care of business. Kate Cunningham is playing in an an all-NBA level. Cade Cunningham is one of the 15 best players in the NBA. Obviously, Jalen Duren, he had a good game last night offensively, the last time they were out, offensively and rebounding-wise, but the defense I still need to see. Tobias Harris has stepped up pretty big. With Ivy being out, he's been kind of that secondary scorer other than the shooter, whoever it is, whether it be Beasley or Tim Hardaway Jr. But Tobias Harris has been reliable for this Pistons team the last couple games, and I expect them to go out there and take care of business. Real quick, Nick, before we get to you, 313 Thug Boss with the super chat in the Woodward Sports chat. He says, MCDC #1, Jay Wooden #2, all-time coaches any sport. I love it. It's aggressive, but I love it.
I believe this Pistons team has learned the lesson of taking a team lightly like they did with the Portland Trail Blazers when they got down early by 20 points. They bounced back, found a way to win in that game. I think you go into Brooklyn tonight and just take care of business. I think it's good to have some of these lesser teams go back-to-back so close because it teaches them a lesson that you cannot take any team lightly, even if you're considered a good team now. And that's what you're going to see tonight out of Cade Cunningham and the Detroit Pistons. And last night, my buddy, who's been on fire, locking picks, 9 out of his last 11. Gave me Dylan Larkin to get a point with Lucas Raymond.
Shout out.
The parlay cashed.
Good parlay.
Tonight, gave me Cade Cunningham 25 points as his next play. I'm right there with him. I think Cade has a really big night in Brooklyn. Yeah, this Pistons team is so excited. I mean,
he likes to play in New York.
Fellas, how does 19 and 18 sound to you guys?
Sounds damn good.
I could cry.
I could cry. It feels like Pat Bev when we finally made the play-in. Like, that's me celebrating.
I'm starting to realize I clowned Pat Bev for that for a while, but I'm starting to feel that way. Pistons will play a game. I might be doing the same thing.
Yeah, Brooklyn's tanking for Cooper Flag right now. You got to go into Brooklyn. Don't lose this game.
Oh, yeah, dude. Pistons going into Brooklyn tonight, they're going to bend sort of that corner. Whoa.
Whoa. There you go.
Shout out.
Chris, last word here on the Pistons, then we'll get Nick and his singing voice ready.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's just great that Detroit basketball is back, and I have full faith in this team going forward, man. This is an awesome team. This is a beautiful thing to watch. Instead of talking about the draft, instead of talking about players to acquire, we are talking about the X's and O's.
Instead of talking about Wingstop.
Yeah, we are talking about the X's and O's because JB Bickerstaff is coaching his ass off. He said we are going to see Detroit basketball in February and March in his press conference. If that's the case, if we're gearing up for that,
still
come on, man. What are championship odds? I'm telling you, man, this team is doing something special this season. I really have full confidence they are avoiding the play-in. I do not think they are playing in the play-in.
I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, I took 35 plus wins.
Yeah, I got that.
I was called a madman.
And I got Pistons and Wings making the offs.
I love it.
In a parlay.
I love it. All right,
it's to win a rack.
Couple minutes left here.
On the banks of the Red Cedar, there's a school that's known to all.
What's the specialty?
It's special. It is we're winning.
Yeah, what do they do?
Spartans play goddamn ball.
Yeah, good ball.
Spartan teams have never been beaten.
No, they haven't.
All through the game they fight.
Fight for what?
Fight for only colors.
Yeah.
The colors are green and white.
And then what do?
Go right through for MSU. Watch the points keep growing. Spartan teams are about to win. They're fighting with the whip. Rah, rah, rah. Their team is weakening. We're going to win this game. Fight. Raw team fight. Victory for MSU.
There you go, folks.
Let's go. Give it up for Thomas. Give it up for Tim Kohloff, TJ Kohloff, former Spartan down.
Shout out TJ Kohloff. Shout out you, Adam, in the Woodward Sports Chat. Shout out you, Nick. Great job these past couple days.
Appreciate it.
And way to be a team player right
Easy.
there.
How about you chug some Pepto? Get back. Everybody misses you. But thank you guys, chat, for embracing me. It's been fun being able to talk about the Leos the last 3 days.
It's awesome. Appreciate y'all joining us. Chase, again, thank you for filling in.
Thank you.
Chris, as solid as it comes, as always. Nick, it's been a great job.
Yeah, great job, Spenny.
And we're the Woodward Heavyweights, man. Appreciate y'all. Make sure you smash that like button. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Maybe Easy's alive. Maybe not. We don't know. We'll see you guys later. Peace.
Go Pistons.